Hi, welcome to AllBrands After Hours with me, your host, Courtney Douthat. Welcome to the show where we hang out and craft together. Today we'll be using our Brother ScanNCut and a ton of Christmas scrap fabric because we are doing Christmas in July. We are going to make an adorable stocking for my son. Let's do this. Now, if you know anything about me, you know I love Christmas. Christmas is great. And honestly, I feel like we have to start Christmas projects now because if we don't, it's going to get too close and then we're going to run out of time. We exactly have this many days till Christmas, guys, and that goes by very fast. So my son absolutely loves the movie The Grinch Stole Christmas. He loves this movie. We literally watch it when it's not even Christmas, and which made me think I should make something fun for his room. Now, my mother-in-law, the beautiful woman that she was, she already made beautiful custom stockings for our mantle. But I thought it would be really fun to do a cute little stocking in Grinch fabric for my son to be able to put in his room. Now, the sad part, I'm in the retail store. I'm in AllBrands, and they have this adorable Grinch fabric, but they only have 2 pieces of it left. Now, I don't know about you, but I cannot make a big stocking out of this. It's just not enough. So I started looking at scraps that I had, and I'm like, you know what? I have things that would match this fabric. He was my starting point right here. So this cute little Grinch fabric. So looking at him, he's got bright colors on him. So I had this fabric. I feel like these two would go together really nicely. Go. All right, so now we have one fabric we'd use. But wait, I have this other fabric that I feel like would go. He looks kind of Grinchy. And then I had this other one that honestly reminds me of Little Debbie cakes. If you know what I'm talking about. But I had some of this fabric. And then I had some other fabrics that I thought would really go good with this. And they might not be exactly Grinch on them, so the licensed material, but they went into the color scheme of it. So I thought, you know what? I can use all these fabrics and do what us quilters do best. And I could take a bunch of fabric, cut it up real small, and put it back together. That's what I think I'm going to do. So I have all this fabric here, all these pieces, and put them together. And then the top of my stocking I'm making, it will be the actual Grinch fabric. And if I have any extra of him, I'll use that where I can. But I think that would be nice to highlight the top of it with the actual Grinch fabric, and then the rest of it would be a really cool, fun quilted design with the rest of this. So let's jump into our ScanNCut and create our design. Now, when we come into create our design, what I'm thinking in my head is that I know that ScanNCut has so many built-in quilt blocks. So I want to use some of these built-in quilt blocks to make cool patterns within my stocking. So I'm just going to go ahead and start clicking, and you have so many built-in. So many. And I feel like this would be a way easier way to incorporate all those different fabrics in something simple like this, instead of just having giant blocks of them on the stocking. So I'm just going to go ahead. Let's see. I like that one. I think that's really fun. So I'm going to go ahead and do 9-inch blocks. So the whole thing when it's done will be 9-inch. This will allow me to have a little extra on the sides for whenever I sew it together. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and say okay. And now it's going to automatically break down each piece of my block. So if I was to select this one right here, hey, that's where those pieces are on my block. If I was to select this one, this is where these are, this one, and so on. So I'm going to start with my square bits and hit okay. And it's telling me, hey, you're going to have to take 5 of those in this particular size to be able to make your block. So I'm going to hit set. And there she is. And it automatically sets them out on there for me. So I'm going to start with this polka dot fabric right here. And this is, I hate that. This has not been treated with anything at all. This is just regular cotton material. So usually I recommend to at least treat it with like Material Magic or something. I would look to see if I had mine near me. But Material Magic or something, just because it prevents a little fraying. But that's fine. We're going to be cutting out so much and stitching them all together. It's not going to give us an issue. All right. There we go. Put this on my mat. All right, and let's load it into our machine. Alrighty, and for today's project, we are going to use our thin fabric blade to be able to cut out this fabric. You know, you could use your rotary blade if you do have one. That's totally fine, but for some regular cotton fabric, mostly I just go to my thin fabric blade. So if we're looking at our design right here, you'll notice that it's got a black line and a blue line. That blue line is to be able to draw out our seam allowance. To be able to do that, we're going to use our drawing tool that comes with every ScanNCut right now. So I'm going to use the air soluble pen that comes with it as well, drop it in there because I am going to draw my seam allowance first before I actually cut out my design. All right, now we can select OK. Now you could of course add more blocks to this if you want, but this is all that I want to cut out of this particular piece. We're going to hit draw and start. All right, so she's going to come down, draw exactly what we wanted her to draw on here for our seam allowance. So fast. And then we are going to be using our thin fabric blade to be able to cut out our fabric. Now, usually I like to use my rotary blade with most things, but this is just regular cotton material, so our thin fabric blade will do us just fine. All right, drop her in. And then we are going to be good and make sure we take the marker out and put the top back on it because it will dry out. All right, and then we're gonna hit finish because we wanna finish the block that we're on. So I'm gonna hit please select, and this time I wanna cut. Alrighty, now half cut is on because I did vinyl last, so I want to come down one and turn half cut off. Hit OK. And half cut is when you're doing vinyl and only want to cut out half of it. Alright, everything looks great. Let's hit start. Alright, she's going to come down and be able to cut right around where we had already drawn our seam allowance. So it gives it a 1/4 seam allowance. Now you can change it if you prefer not to have a 1/4, but the kind of go-to default is a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Oh, it's so good. All right, here we go. Let's unload. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, now let me be good. Let me get my spatula because this is, remember, untreated fabric. This is just regular cotton material, so it's you know, it could fray if we're not careful with it. And the machine did a great job cutting it out, which should probably help it get it off of that sticky mat. All right, so I'm going to put my spatula underneath, and then all I do is wiggle. And just that way I can safely, as gently as possible, get it off of there with little fraying. There we go. Ta-da! Look at that. Perfect. All right, so we have our first one. Let's get the rest of them off. Go. Now, and it did a great job. Let me show you guys up close. It did a great job. So you can see where it drew out that seam allowance for me right around there. So now whenever I go to sew this, I can just meet those ends up to be able to sew it out. So fantastic. And it's a air soluble pen that we use. So it's gonna, you know, those lines will just evaporate away. So we're gonna hit next part. All right, so we're gonna select our next part right here. Hit OK, set, and there she is. All right, I have my drawing tool in there, so I'm gonna go ahead and hit OK. Please select, and this time I want to draw. I'm gonna go ahead and drop it in, and then hit start. And then she's gonna come over and draw a seam allowance, just like how she did for my other pieces. There she goes. Now again, if you wanna turn this around and feel like it would be better for you to do that to be able to see it, you totally could. So just flipping the fabric so the white side would be facing you, or you know, you'd be able to see that a little bit better. Totally can. I feel like this fabric, it's got the white in it, so I can still see it pretty well, but it's personal preference if you felt like that would, you know, do a little bit better for you. And you know what, just because I can, I'm gonna use my rotary blade. All right, and we're gonna hit finish because we wanna finish what we're on. Please select, and we wanna cut. Start. The noise that it makes of it just like perfectly cutting it, it's good. There it goes. Oh, it does it so well. All right, so I'm gonna take my spatula tool and I'm gonna come in, start weaving underneath these. It's so good. Oh, look how good it is. And really not much fraying. There's like a bit of fraying right there, and the camera wants to be silly on it. Not much fraying. I appreciate that. Okay, we're just gonna, and Courtney, why do you wiggle? Because again, This is untreated fabric, and I want to make sure that it doesn't like pull it in a funny way, or, you know, make it where it starts like unraveling. Now, if you wanted to, again, to hit it with some Material Magic or something like that, you totally could. And that would just give it some stability, but Material Magic washes out, so it wouldn't be like it was gonna be like that on your stocking. Okay, there you go. All right, do I have another one? I think I have one. Nope, I think that was it. I think the rest is the scraps. Not bad, hey, not bad. Honestly, I could still use these little bits. All right. All right, let's jump in and get our next part. Alrighty, so we're gonna hit next part, and we're gonna grab this guy right here. Hit OK. And there's only 2 of them, so let's hit set. And you know what, while I'm at it, I could, of course, do the arrangement and have it do like this, so it's an even smaller little area like that. How good is that? And then we could hit OK, because it's so good. Okay, hit OK. Please select, and we want to cut. All right, so I'm going to take this little bit of fabric I have, put it on my mat. All right, and hit start. Again, if you want to draw your sleeve allowance for every single one, you are more than welcome to. It depends on how I feel that day. Now, I will say, and this is just me feeling this, I feel like the rotary blade might be a little bit more careful with the cotton fabric if it's untreated than just the thin fabric blade. All right, so we're gonna get our spatula. We know the drill by now. All right, there we go. 1 block, and our last block. Boom, done. All right, so we're done with our mat for now. I'm gonna throw it back there. All right, and now I like to lay out my block. It's just, for something whenever I sew, it's just easier for me if I just go ahead and visualize it. Now, if you want to, of course, look at the block on your ScanNCut to kind of remember it, usually leave it on my screen for that exact reason. So all you have to do is hit next part, and there's the block again. All right, so I've got a 1 in the center, got 4 in the corner. Okay, and these red ones were like this all the way around. I really should have ironed this material. It's kind of wrinkly. Maybe I should iron it before I sew it. That would be a good idea. There we go. Like that. Oh, that's so cute. And then I'll go ahead and just cut more of these guys out to have them right there. All right, so quickly off camera, I just went ahead and cut out a few more of those. So I can have this one here, this one here, and this one here. How cute is that? Oh, that's gonna look so cute. I have all my pieces now, and for this part, because think there's a whole stocking that has to go on there, but I think the colors with this are gonna look so, so good. Oh, I'm so excited. So we're off to a good start. So I'm gonna go ahead and sew these pieces together real quick, and then that way we can make another block, and I'm just gonna go ahead and start connecting them. Okay, so we're over here to my XP3, and I'm gonna select sewing, and I'm just gonna do a straight stitch, a regular straight stitch, nothing fancy, okay? Because we gotta get all these pieces together. Now, the great thing is, since I have this whole area over here, because I keep my embroidery unit on, and whenever I tell it sewing, it just pushes my embroidery unit over. So I actually have this as like a tabletop. So I usually take my quilt pieces and I'll put them over here, and I'll go ahead and set them up like how they're going to be. And they're off to the side, but it's just easy so I can grab them and know where things are going. So I love that I can sew with that embroidery unit still on, because if not, I've got to store this somewhere. I don't like doing any of that. All right, so first things first, I am going to take my triangles. Ooh, there we go. Take my triangles like this and go ahead and put them together to sew them down this line. And usually when I do this, I just go ahead and chain them together. Grab the next one. And the nice thing is, since the ScanNCut cut these like perfect little, ends off, I really know where to go from it. I just sew from the end right there all the way to the other end. It's fantastic. Now, if you notice, I do have a bit of fraying because I might have been bad and walked around with these for a while. There you go. All right, now we create this fun little banner. And then I just go back either with some snips or something nearby, and I go ahead and just snip those. Now, if you want to go ahead and pull them apart to be able to open them up and iron them. So if you want to go ahead and do it, I'm just going to finger press these. I know, I should be ironing them to make them very, very pretty. But for right now, I'm just going to go ahead and finger press them open like this. All right, so now that we have that laid out and we've got the rest of our blocks over here laid out, I'm just gonna go ahead and set them how they're supposed to be. And then I usually like to take like this top row right here, and I'll go ahead and sew that, then I'll go to the bottom row, next row, and everything like that. Okay, so let's take our top row right here. I dropped the guy. Okay, and nestle this together like that. And then sew right along that edge. And I'm doing 1/4 inch seam allowances. And if you want to chain stitch this, you can. I kind of just like doing it piece by piece, but that is 100% up to you. There we go. So now this guy is opened up like that. Okay, and then I dropped the other piece. Okay, then we'll take the next one. Same concept, we just butt it up with this one, line them up, and then sew along that edge. There we are. Okay, so now we have our first one sewn. She's so cute. Okay, put that one over there, and then we'll do our next row, which starts with one of these. So open her up, take one of these, lay it down on there. Like that. Well, line it up a little bit better. Like that. Okay. And then sew them out. There we go. There we go. So good. Okay, we got that one for right there. And then this one goes right here. I'm sorry, but quilting, it never gets old. It never gets old, all the cool stuff that we can make. Okay, there we go. And now we've got the last little group left to do. All right, we got the last little group. We've got these going, so if you did want to go ahead and sew those two together, you totally could. I like to do them all and then sew them together. I don't know why. It's preference. All right, here we go. Okay, there we go. And now I'm gonna go ahead and sew that top down. So this one on top of there. And I do like to butt up the seams right here and kind of nestle them in between each other. There we go. And if you want to clip it, you are more than welcome to. I usually, if I am gonna clip, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna clip here and I'm gonna clip there. So that way I nestled those two up so they perfectly fit together like that. And I put the seams on opposite ends of each other. And then I'll take Wonder clips or just a regular pin and then pin those down like that. And so that way when I'm sewing, I could just pull from here instead of it being pinned this way or that way or anything. So I'm gonna go ahead and just pin those up. So no matter what, those should be sewn together. All right, connecting the top ones. Okay, so cute. Oh, I love it, I love it, I love it. Okay, focus, Courtney. Okay, so that's the top right there. So now we grab this guy, flip him like this, butt up the corners. Okay. Ta-da! Okay, checking my corners. All right, I could have done better on that one. I could have moved it over. Okay, I could have. Let's see. Okay, but the other ones, don't ignore that one. But the other ones did good. Okay. I mean, I could fix that if I wanted to. I'm just gonna do it like that, and then you'll never know. And now we're going to go ahead and we're going to use a 12 by 24 mat. Now I actually took a stocking that I already had and I traced around it to create my template. And I'm actually going to scan this in. If you notice, it was on a manila folder because I didn't have a piece of paper that was this large. So this worked great for me. And now I just can scan that in my machine and save it to my machine. So that way I can make a ton of these. But also I used it to cut out my lining, the backing, everything just out of this. Now, if you didn't have a stocking to be able to trace, you could of course just go online on Pinterest. They have tons of stocking patterns that you could get that are totally free. So that is up to you. All right, then we're going to scan to cut data and hit start. Now this is just because I don't actually want to cut out of that folder. I want to cut out of this that I've made, which how cool is that? I just went ahead and added a few more blocks just to kind of, you know, jazz it up a little bit. But if you notice now, it's big enough for to be the stocking. So I have that center one that I did, and then I added a row down at the bottom of just, you know, staggered ones. I cut them out the same design, and I added a row at the top, and then this little bit at the top because it wasn't going. Dropping that. It wasn't going to be a full square, so I just cut out that little bit because that's going to be where the actual Grinch fabric folds over, so you won't even see that top bit. So that's what I did. Oh, she's done. All right, there she is. Okay, so I want just the outside. I don't want any of the inside or anything like that. Look at that. And you scroll down, you can see the bottom of it. So I'm going to scroll this down like this, just so I don't have to worry about deleting that. Ooh, I scrolled up too much. Let's scroll out like that. Beautiful. And the rest of it I can kind of just go ahead and delete out whenever I'm working on it later. Beautiful. All right, let's hit preview. Gorgeous. So I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. And I want to save this to my machine. All right, great. So now we can unload this. Hit OK. That's totally fine because we've now saved it to our machine. Now, the neat thing is I can take that off. So I just traced a stocking for my design. If you want to go online, they're on Pinterest, there's tons of different stocking templates that you can do. I just had one nearby and went ahead and traced it to make my own. But again, there's tons on Pinterest if you want one of those. All right, so now that we have that design, I'm going to take this fabric that I sewed together and I'm going to go ahead and put that on my mat. There we go. It is a little bit big for my mat, but that is fine. Now, currently, and this is Courtney's soapbox moment, currently there is not a fabric mat, a 12 by 24 fabric mat for the ScanNCut. There's not. They only have a 12 by 12. One day, hopefully, they will come out with a 12 by 24 fabric mat. But as of right now, recording this video, there's not one. So that's unfortunate because the standard mat that I'm using is just not as sticky as a good fabric mat that holds that fabric good. Now, there are things called high-tack support sheets, high-tack support sheets that you can get to put on a standard mat. They come in a 12 by 12 sheets, but you can put 2 of them on that 12 by 24 mat. and then that way you can make it as sticky as a fabric mat. But the thing with high tack support sheets is over time you cut through them like that, it's a nightmare. It's not good because then you have to remove them, they're sharp, and then you have to replace them. So I personally do not like those. I would prefer an actual fabric mat. But again, they don't have a 12 by 24, so we have to use high tack support sheets. I don't want to. So I'm gonna risk it on this pretty new standard mat. I'm gonna risk it. I'm gonna make sure I brayer it really good, and I'm gonna use my rotary blade to be a little bit more gentle with it than my regular thin fabric blade that I use to cut out the pieces. My rotary blade is just gonna be more gentle. So I need gentle right now because this mat is not as sticky as a fabric mat, but I need it to work just as well. So, all right, I'm going in all the creases. I mean, this is something we quilted. This is something we pieced together. So I am gonna go get my fabric scissors and cut just this little bit off because that's where the rollers are gonna be. And if a roller hits it, it's gonna move it. And I really don't want that to happen. So I'm just coming around and just cutting that off. All right, and that's just because I really don't want this to move off my mat. I'm going to be hovering this. All right, there we go. Let's get our design. All righty, here we go. So we can go ahead and we're going to come back to home, hit OK. And then we're going to go to retrieve data from our machine. Scroll to the bottom. There it is. And you do see that little bit of gunk. So we're going to hit OK, edit. And then we're going to start selecting this gunk right here. And we can do the selection tools to get, let me go pull that one up, to get this box that makes it a little bit faster. So everything up here is gunk that we don't want. It was from our mat. So we're going to hit OK, trash, boom. How nice. All right, let's delete that. This. Boom. Now, if you're ever unsure if you got everything, if there's like a random piece you don't see, you see how these selection tools right here where you could toggle back and forth or grayed out? That's because there's nothing on my mat other than this one item. So I can't toggle to something else because there is nothing else. There's only one design. I know. So cool. All right. So let's go ahead. We're going to hit OK. And we're going to hit scan because I would actually like to scan in my design to make sure that my fabric is placed where I want it. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and load my mat. And she's a big old mat. So I'm just giving it a little support. And I'm gonna go ahead and hit start. Now remember we did change that scanner to a 12 by 24, so she will scan the whole mat. And again, I'm just gonna hold it in the back. Okay, we're being gentle. Someone in last week's live literally made my day. They said that I always say I call her the machine a she, a her, and they're like, the only reason you do that is because you have 4 boys and you need another girl in the house. And I'm like, y'all are so right. Made my day. Made my day. It was so funny. So if you didn't catch last week's show, I was live. We had so much fun cutting up, having a good time, trying some hacks on camera. That was a blast. So thank you for anyone that did attend that live. All right, how cool is that? Okay, y'all know I geek out about this stuff. But that is neat. So I'm going to scroll down because I want to look at the bottom. I could bring this down a little bit. I could, and that would be really neat. Okay, I might do that. Let's see. That way I get more of that quilted part. What do y'all think? Yeah, I like that. We're leaving a little bit of an edge. And like I said, that wasn't even a full block, and it was getting cut off. So I'm not even worried about that piece because it really was getting cut off right there. All right, everything looks great. If you do want to be able to hit edit and then zoom in to make sure you see it even better, you totally can do that. These tools right here move what you're looking at. This actually moves the design on your mat. So I'm going to come down here. Oh, look how good that is. That is so good. All right, so I'm going to hit OK. And then if you do want to make the scan darker, you totally can do that. I'm going to hit OK. To make the scan darker, just go here, hit OK, and it makes it dark. Oh, wow. Wow. Guys, it never gets old. It never gets old. Look at that. How cool is that? You ever thought you were going to put a quilted piece in there? Look at that. You totally could. All right, I'm going to hit OK. Please select, and I want to cut. Never gets old. All right, let's hit start. All right, so I am watching this like a hawk. I should have put a high-tack support sheet. I'm being really bad not doing that. I'm trusting that auto blade, that rotary blade right there. I know she's gonna be gentle with my piece. I know it. So while she's cutting out and I'm hovering, let's do our AllBrands Behind the Scenes Membership Spotlight. Laura Baker, you are our AllBrands Behind the Scenes Membership Spotlight. Thank you so much for being a member, Laura. Oh man, it's so good. The rotary blade is so good. I need to stop touching it. It's just so good. Because honestly, unlike the other blades, and I've said this before, the other blades just come around and cut. She hops because she's looking for that best possible cut. You know, that smooth cut. So she's constantly hopping around looking for it. I mean, literally, fantastic. Done. That was so, I like literally just stared at it the whole time. All right, I'm scared. All right, you ready? Okay, now, if you see, like there's a few little threads right here, like right where the seam was, but like in its defense, you know? Okay, yeah, two little threads I gotta cut. Look, that's like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Okay, I don't even know where the trash can is. Wow. That's so cool. Oh, that's cool. That is so cool. Oh, I love it. I mean, honestly, you wouldn't even have to do the topper. You know, the little Grinch topper I'm going to do, you wouldn't even have to do that. Cut out a few more of these, which I am, the liner and the backing. I'm just going to throw on my ScanNCut to cut out. It's just one single piece of fabric. That's cool. All right, with a little bit of movie magic, I went ahead and cut out my lining pieces and all my backing pieces. I just went ahead and cut them out of this cute little Christmas tree fabric. It's cute. So now all I have to do is put right sides together of my back and front, and then right sides together of my liner. Go ahead and stitch around of both, and then I'll put the lining side of the outside design and then add my little topper, and then I'll be done. Oh, if I want to add a little wall hanging part, we'll see. So I'm gonna go ahead in my machine and sew this around. I'm so excited. I don't know if y'all can tell, I'm excited. Okay, so I have this, I don't even think I'm gonna pin it. Let me go ahead and sew the lining first. I don't know why, that seems to be the right move for me. I'm just gonna line it up real fast. That. Okay, there we go. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and just turn it. Oh my goodness. So if you didn't want to add a lining or a topper, you pretty much would be done. I mean, I would finish up the top a bit. Or you know what, if you didn't want to add a topper, you could just, you know, something, I don't know. But how cute is that? Okay, you won't even see that part, but I'm still excited about it. Okay. Like that. Oh, it's so cute. Oh, that's a cute little stocking. Oh my goodness. And we could have even quilted on the top of it before we put it together if we really wanted to jazz it up or put a name on it or something like that. Okay, I'm gonna add the inner part inside of there. I just grabbed it by the toe and shoved it down there, and then I'll straighten it out. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna flip it like this. So technically the inside is there, and that is just because it's gonna be easier to sew. I'm just gonna make sure I've got both of them in here the whole time. Check it again. All right, and I did have just a little bit, so I am gonna chop off that fabric right here. And then all I did was tuck that open end into the other one. It's like a pocket, and then sewed it closed. And then flipped everything right side out. All right, so now we're gonna pull the topper down a little bit more. And we have that beautiful lining in there. How cute is that? It came out so good. Max is his favorite character, so I'm very glad that Max is front and center. And then we've got the Grinch over here and Presents and Cindy Lou Who. That came out so good. And I'm just going to add a bit of ribbon, just a little decorative ribbon to the top, or I could make it out of the rest of this little Grinch fabric. Like how wild, we had little pieces of fabric, and we actually still have a piece left over if I want to make a little mini one for his little dog, if I wanted to. But how cute. So now it looks very Grinch. If you ask me, it looks very Grinch. But we only had a bit of Grinch fabric, but we were able to make this adorable stocking for my son. I think he's going to love this. Okay, probably one of my favorite things I've ever made. How stinking adorable. And this really is sky's the limit. So we just made a stocking, but you could make quilts out of your ScanNCut and make tote bags out of any fabric you wanted to. Anything under the sun. I mean, cosmetic bags, I really think it would be cute to make a little tote bag. So a quilted one just like this for Christmas out of fun Christmas fabric that I still have left that maybe isn't the Grinch colors, but it would be really fun for me to carry around for the holiday season. So let me know down below if you want me to do that video, because I'd be happy to do it, because now it's in my brain and I have to make it. Alright guys, don't forget that the Brother ScanNCut is available on our website, AllBrands.com, as well as tons of other things. And don't forget that if you want to come hang out with me in person, one-on-one, we'll actually be in San Antonio for the AllBrands Academy. There are a handful of spots for that second weekend that we did add, as well as meeting Becky Thompson and doing classes with her. Jerry Granada, Tammy Carson, Barbara Douthat, and of course me. You'll get to have so much fun and have a blast. As well as we did announce the next two AllBrands Academies, which will be in Bossier City, Louisiana, and in Lafayette, Louisiana. So both of those are live at this point, and you can go ahead and sign up for those. We are very excited to be one of the first and only dealers that will have a room full of the brand new Bernina 990 that you'll be able to use in class to be able to do projects on, as well as tons of other classes on tons of other machines. So make sure you definitely sign up below, because we're pretty sure those spots are going to fill up fast. All right, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe, because the easiest way to let us know that you want more of these videos. Y'all have a good night. Bye. Polka dot's really cute too. Oh no. This is the hard part. This is where it gets hard. Okay. I feel like a running joke now with the show. There's gonna be police and ambulance of some kind. I don't know. Yeah. Oh. I just realized I sewed that on the wrong. That piece should have been connected to that piece. Oh no, do I want to seam rip it? I mean, technically, if I laid it like this, it would be in the correct spot. That should probably be good. And just, you know, undo it and not have it look like that. Y'all have a good night. Bye. They're gonna sell out fast. I have a bad feeling. I hope they don't break the website again, because when we did AllBrands San Antonio, you guys pretty much broke the website. Like, it just came at us. We were not ready. The people want to sew, okay? They want to hang out with their friends, eat some food, make some projects, and have a good time, okay? I'm not going to prevent them from doing that.